Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate help.
The mistake really is there's too much BS floating out there, and now it's out of our hands. There's no way to control it, so now they're saying they're going to control it. I want to see what they're going to do.
My team will review the applications and give credentials to new media applicants who meet our criteria and pass United States Secret Service requirements to enter the White House complex.
All right.
What'd she say?
You'd think The View would have calmed down by now, but they're still full of loud drama and wild opinions. This time, they faced pushback from Maher and Karoline Leavitt, two surprising voices who fought back hard. So, what's the fuss about? It began with a comment that we hadn't checked on the show's chaos in a while, and things haven't improved. In fact, it's gotten even messier. Get ready
to get past this endless, unforgiving, zero-tolerance mindset bent on punishing and disappearing anyone caught saying the wrong thing. The right response to speech you don't like is more speech.
The drama kicked off when Maher had dinner with former President Trump. Whoopi Goldberg got really upset and refused to say Trump's name on air. But that was just the beginning. The women on the show then attacked Bill, acting like he did something wrong just for having dinner with Trump. They didn't like that Bill has been moving toward more moderate and conservative views. Then, Karoline Leavitt stepped in and called out their hypocrisy. Bill responded smoothly, making jokes and cutting through their arguments with sharp truth. It turned into a serious public showdown.
Listen, take him seriously and take him literally.
I don't think that we have to. I think it would be remiss of us to not say Joe Biden knows how to do this. Yes, he knows how to do this. He's quite good at this. And you know, you can't refute anything with him because he just, when I say him, I mean
he rambles.
Trump.
Yeah.
He tends to just.
But can I mention one thing?
And this was just the beginning. Whoopi completely lost it over Maher having dinner. With Trump, like he broke some unspoken rule. To her and the rest of the View panel, this wasn't just a meal. It was a total betrayal. They've spent years calling Trump untouchable, and then Maher just shows up at his table. That drove them wild. In their eyes, nothing could fix the crime of sitting with someone they've been criticizing for so long. This wasn't just dinner, it was crossing a line they made very clear. But Maher? He's never been one. To back down because a few daytime hosts got upset. On a new episode of Real Time, he went straight into the fight. No soft words, no being polite, just his usual sharp sarcasm and bold style. He called out the drama head-on, without holding back.
How dare you be so flippant, man? Listen, nobody on the planet really wants to go through this. This is not something we're doing because it's, really gratifying. This is what we're doing to protect our families. And you don't have to do it, but stay away from everybody.
And yes, he called out names, putting Whoopi's meltdown right in the spotlight. He didn't hold back at all. With every sentence, he tore apart their over-the-top reactions and made it clear he doesn't need their approval. He said what he said and isn't backing down. This was classic Maher, bold, fearless, and completely unfazed. His message was clear. He'll sit down with anyone he wants, whenever he wants. No drama panel gets to decide who he can or can't talk to. Maher didn't just defend himself, he set the record straight. He reminded everyone this is still America, where freedom of thought should matter, where you don't have to freak out just because someone thinks differently, and where adults can have honest conversations without turning every disagreement into a fight.
As you know, 12 days ago, I had dinner with President Trump, a dinner that was set up by my friend Kid Rock, because we share a belief that there's got to be something better than hurling insults from 3,000 miles away. And let me first say that to all the people who treated this like it was some kind of summit meeting, you're ridiculous. Like I was going to sign a treaty or something. I have no power. I'm a comedian, and he's the most powerful leader in the world. I'm not the leader of anything, except maybe a contingent of centrist-minded people who think there's got to be a better way of running this country than hating each other every minute.
But guess who wasn't having any of that? The crew at The View, of course. For them, the idea of civil conversation disappeared the moment you sit down with someone they don't approve of. You're instantly the bad guy. Bill wasn't just defending himself, he was standing up for a bigger idea. That debate doesn't have to turn into chaos, and disagreeing doesn't mean you have to get outraged. That message hit hard, except for one person, Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi didn't just disagree, she lost it. She acted like Bill personally attacked her. What really showed her bias was when she brought Kamala Harris into the argument, trying to compare Trump and the vice president, something that didn't really make sense. Here's the kicker. Without meaning to, Whoopi revealed her true feelings. If Kamala had invited Bill to dinner, Whoopi would have been all in. No outrage, no angry rant. She might have even hosted the after party. If Bill had praised Kamala instead of Trump, Whoopi would have been cheering, maybe even tearing up. But because it was Trump, suddenly those same words became a scandal. This wasn't about fairness or consistency. It was about picking sides loud and clear. And Whoopi didn't hide it. She made sure everyone saw it.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
I know as I say that, millions of liberal sphincters just tightened. Oh my God, Bill, are you going to say something nice about him? What I'm going to do is report exactly what happened. You decide what you think about it. And if that's not enough pure Trump hate for you, I don't give a
This is exactly why people respect Bill Maher. He doesn't just talk about free speech, he lives it. When the outrage hit, he didn't back down. No fake apologies, no begging for forgiveness, no folding, even with Whoopi Goldberg attacking him on national TV. Maher stayed calm and steady, like nothing could shake him. That kind of strength is rare these days. Most people give in as soon as social media gets loud, but not Maher. He stood his ground and doubled down on his beliefs like a true boss. While many called for Whoopi to take a break after her angry rant, Maher didn't ask for sympathy or play the victim. He simply spoke the truth, and he didn't leave quietly either. He fired back with some powerful jabs. One moment had the whole internet buzzing when he compared Whoopi to a hunter and himself to a lion. Yep, he really said that. You can say what you want about Maher, but he knows how to use words. And this time, his words were pure poetry. In this wild media battle, Whoopi charged in, ready to take him down. But Maher flipped the script. Instead of running, he fought back. Not by shouting, but with sharp, clever comebacks that caught her off guard. In the end, it wasn't the lion who looked shaken.
I want to talk about Whoopi Goldberg because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week before. Sure. So everybody was like, oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the karma. First of all, I'm going to talk about this at the end of my show next week, teaser. But there is no thing as karma, okay? Get over that. Whoopi attacks me on a regular basis. She says stupid on a regular basis. It just happened to coincide.
While Bill Maher was finishing strong, someone else was stepping up. White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt. And what she said next really shook things up. Karoline didn't hold back. Every word she said hit hard. She spoke what many people feel but don't say out loud. This new wave of so-called wokeness isn't helping. It's ruining everything. It touches. She explained how what began as empathy and progress has turned into a harmful mix of censorship, fake outrage, and non-stop identity politics. It's everywhere. Schools, hospitals, newsrooms, even your social media feed. No one is safe from the spin. News outlets aren't even trying to find the facts anymore. They're busy creating stories like movie scripts. Universities focus more on preaching beliefs than teaching facts. You go in for a degree but come out with a strict ideology. Politics has become a stage for empty gestures, where showing the right opinions matters more than actual results. Even healthcare is caught up, with choices being driven more by ideology than patient care. This isn't just a cultural change. It's shaking the very foundation of how things work.
But life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Right in the middle of all this chaos is Whoopi Goldberg. But she's not just another loud voice on TV. She's become the face of this extreme woke culture that treats any disagreement like a personal attack. Her loyalty to this way of thinking isn't just frustrating, it's harmful. Whoopi uses her platform not to encourage open dialogue, but to shut down anyone who disagrees. She fires back at critics, labels anyone with a different view, and helps fuel the cancel culture that's tearing people apart. Real conversations have been replaced by name-calling, outrage, and silencing. That's exactly what Karoline Leavitt, pointed out when she turned her attention to Whoopi and called out the entire panel. No holding back.
You know, we have seen cultural Marxism trickling its way through every institution in this country. The public school system, the higher education university system, Hollywood, big tech, the corrupt mainstream media that I fought against in President Trump's White House are indoctrinating my generation of Americans into hating our country, hating one another based on race and gender and sex and all of this other BS.
For years, the women on The View have played a careful game, softening their biases, twisting facts, and calling it empowerment. But Karoline Leavitt tore that fake mask right off, revealing a harsh truth underneath. Think about it. These panelists once hailed Joe Biden as the best thing to happen to America. They praised him like he was a hero, even when the whole country saw he was struggling during public appearances. Still, they ignored the signs and pushed the story that everything was perfect, acting like no one was watching. Then there's Kamala Harris. The View treated her like the savior of democracy, giving her the spotlight before she'd even proved herself. But time after time, she stumbled over simple sentences, delivering confusing speeches full of buzzwords and little meaning. Yet, to the panel, she's untouchable. This isn't real commentary, it's propaganda, dressed up in fancy clothes, polished sets, and that loud, constant laughter meant to drown out the facts. But Karoline Leavitt, she didn't back down one bit.
And the irony in all of this is that Joe Biden and the Democrats and these ladies on The View constantly say President Trump is the alleged threat to democracy, when in fact they themselves are wishfully thinking that President Trump will be imprisoned when he has not been convicted of any crimes. That is the real threat to democracy. Voters see that, and that's why President Trump continues his dominance.
She came ready, calm, clear, and armed with facts. Karoline Leavitt didn't just challenge them. She shattered their illusion right there on live TV. Of course, Whoopi tried to fire back with her usual attitude, but Leavitt's response stopped everyone in their tracks. She didn't get emotional or rude. Instead, she simply pointed out the truth. Whoopi talks a lot about unity and tolerance, but that disappears the moment someone sits down to dinner with a person she doesn't like. Leavitt called it like it is. Real leadership means standing, firm, even when it's uncomfortable. It means not changing your values just to please the loudest voices in the room. That message resonated with a lot of people. This wasn't just a viral moment, it was a wake-up call. Every time Leavitt spoke, you could feel the fake story unraveling bit by bit. With Bill Maher backing her up, the two of them pulled back the curtain on the whole act.
The mistake really is there's too much BS floating out there, and now it's out of our hands. There's no way to control it, so now they're saying they're going to control it. I want to see what they're going to do.
My team will review the applications and give credentials to new media applicants who meet our criteria and pass United States Secret Service requirements to enter the White House complex.
Whoopi's outrage totally backfired. Millions saw it as just an act with no real principle. The tide is turning. People are waking up. The old scripted outrage and spin, it's starting to crack. Bill Maher didn't just have dinner with someone controversial, he sparked a real conversation. Karoline Leavitt dropped truth bombs that shook things up. Together, they proved pushing back means guts and logic, not yelling. People want honesty and both sides without being shamed. If this episode fired you up, hit like and subscribe. We're just getting started. Share this with someone who needs a wake-up call. You're part of a growing wave ready to ask the real questions. Thanks for watching. The next episode is going to be even bigger. See you soon.